Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. The Atlanta Braves seem to invent a new way to lose every single night. If it's not the offense faltering, it's the one night that the bullpen falters, and that's what happened last night. Grant Holmes gives you 4 innings, 2 earned runs. You can't really expect too much more than that. Jesse Chavez gives up a double to cut the lead to 4, and then Pierce Johnson gives up what could be the proverbial nail in the coffin for the Braves season. It just feels like this stretch, like if the Braves end up missing the postseason, now 2 games back of the Mets. The good news is they're also only 2 games back of the Diamondbacks, who are scuffling as well. So you only need one of those teams, but you play the Mets. So that's the team that you get to play, and you have an opportunity to win the tiebreaker for the season. And catch them up. So that's really the team that you're watching. They absolutely smack the Nationals, and it's just been a grueling 3 stretch, because not only have the Braves lost 3 games in a row, which is backbreaking in its own right, it's the way that they've lost them, not getting runners in, blowing 4 runs leads, and just playing bad baseball
against bad teams.
The Dodgers aren't bad,
but even before that, I mean, I think against like the White Sox, Nationals, and Reds were like 6-18 or something that. I mean, that's absolutely pathetic.
We haven't won a game against the Reds. I think we're 0-4. We have a losing record significantly against the Nationals, and then we lost a series to the White Sox. So yeah, I mean, this is a team that's killed bad teams. Like,
we are a bad team. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. We're probably not a playoff team. But with the expanded playoffs, the Braves and Mets probably shouldn't be in the postseason. We're both not very good teams. With the expanded playoffs,
the Mets are playing good ball.
They're playing good ball, but you can always count on the Mets to piss down their legs. The Diamondbacks were scuffling, like you mentioned. So yeah, that's the kicker, is the Braves still somehow have life.
Yeah, I mean, somehow. Life. I mean, it's life, I guess. It doesn't feel like they have life, but how many times have we sat on this show and said the exact same thing? It's been one
it felt
step
like
forward.
That. 2 games to the Dodgers in that series, they just kicked the crap out of us. And we come out, we put up 4 runs in 2 innings or whatever it was, And I was like, yep, yeah. I was watching the game. I was like, oh, yep, this is that obvious time where, we bounce right back and they suck me back in. And then, what's happened seemingly every single week, you think you're getting back up and they kick your hand out from underneath you as you pushing yourself up.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly been the 1 step forward, 2 steps back with this team ever since the end of April. I mean, this team was 19-7, 12 games above 500. I think they had the best record in baseball at that time. They were healthy outside of Spencer Strider, but the lineup was hitting. It looked like the best offense in baseball again. It looks like they're going to cruise to another division. Obviously, the injuries have played an integral role in everything that's happened. I mean, it's just, you go out and you watch the Braves. I mean, it's a tough watch. I mean, the team sucks.
I was watching, my girlfriend's not a huge Braves fan, but I have 2 TVs in my living room, and she looks up from her TV show and she goes, "Who is that?" And then another guy comes up and she goes, "Who is that?" And I just chuckle and laugh to myself. And I tell her, I was like, yeah, half this team, you have no idea. And she was like, "I'm glad, I didn't go to that game with you, or we haven't gone to a game." And it's like, well, I get it, because we, like, the average fan, obviously we know them. Nobody knows who's even playing on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, I mean, they suck. Like, it's hard to say anything other than they suck. Like, if you go look, like, they've been as bad as any offense in baseball. And you go look at the lineups that you compare them to, and you actually look at them side by side, and you're like, oh, well, it's not like just the Braves are underperforming. Yeah, they have some guys underperforming, but no, like, they suck. Like, they have a bunch of guys that have been DFA'd by teams that are either
a third of our lineup on a night to night basis has been DFA'd by other teams, and 2 of those teams are horrid. So
yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of good stuff to say. I mean, it feels like we're here. We got 11 games left, and it feels like we're talking about this team not making the postseason for the first time since 2017.
Make it.
Yeah, but
that's just I mean, the Braves are.
It just doesn't feel like, and it doesn't feel like. It's like, I hate to say this, I want them to, because I want them to knock out the Mets, and I want to laugh at them, and I'm excited for that series at Truist Park if it actually matters. I mean, we could go and lose 4 out of the next 5, and that series doesn't even really matter. I'm hoping we get the opportunity to where, hey, if we win 2 out of 3, we're in the lead in the wild card race. Whether we get it, what remains to be seen. So I'm hopeful for that. You never know what can happen in the postseason, but I'll tell you what, like, if you've been a Braves fan like us, And I'm sure a lot of you
Just
guys
want
are out
the
there.
season to be
Yeah,
over.
I mean, there's a part of me that's just like, dude, I'm kind of just tired of getting beat down.
Well, yeah, it's like football games when, you know, your star running back goes down and then your star cornerback goes down and you're in a dogfight with a terrible football team. And you're like, Georgia and Kentucky. We just got to get out of Lexington. That's how it feels with this Braves season. It's like bubble wrap Chris Sale. Let's just mail it in. And obviously you can't do that. I'm just joking. But to a certain extent, it's like I'm joking, but am I joking? Like, let's mail it in 2025. Ronald Acuna's back, Strider's back, Riley's back. You know, hopefully Sale's back and healthy. You know, that's the only thing is like wrap these guys in bubble wrap for 2025 at this point.
Yeah. One other thing happened last night. Ozzie Albies, first game, starts his rehab assignment, hits a home run. And it's like, and what do we say every time? Every time there's just a little bit of glimmer of hope, like it's just going to suck you back in. And I guarantee you, if the Braves go out, let's say the Braves go out and win these next 2 games against the Red and they're 1 game back of the Mets, or maybe they're tied with the Mets and Ozzie Albies is coming back, all of a sudden we're going to be sitting up here saying, oh, let's go. So, I mean, listen, as we've seen this entire season with the Braves, because of how up and down it's been, they can change in an instant, and all this momentum that you feel like you're slipping away and falling out of it, and it's doom and gloom, can turn into happiness because you're right back in the race, and Ozzie Albies back. He homers in his first game back. We've seen these guys have success in Gwinnett and then come up to the major leagues and struggles in this rehab assignment. AAA is a lot easier to hit in. I mean, Michael Harris, Sean Murphy, pretty much every guy that's come up. I mean, it's hard to come back from these injuries. We'll see how I think he's pretty much going to be exclusively right-handed.
A one-handed batter.
I don't know.
A one-handed Ozzie Albies.
I don't know if they'll start him against righties. Maybe it'll be a platoon thing. I don't know. But hey, listen, getting Ozzie Albies back in any capacity, just having the vibes back in the clubhouse, and a guy that hasn't really experienced all the low points on the field. Maybe he brings a little bit different energy. Like, hey boys, let's go. I don't know. I'm just speaking out of my butt right now, but I'm trying to imagine any scenario where the Braves can turn this thing around because the last 3 nights have been brutal to watch.